everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Cynthia and today's video is another ephemera making video. Here I'm showing you the ephemera that we made in the last video. For me, this is actually right after, but I know that I won't be posting the two videos right back to back. So here you can see the two envelopes that we've altered, and I just want to make some more ephemera for the journals that I'm currently working on. So in today's video, I wanted to use some different elements. So I did want to use a little bit of some printables. I wanted to showcase how I like to use my smaller printables. Often when I get different wallpaper packs, they come as a sheet that has 4 of them in a smaller form. So these particular ones are from Ruby and Pearl XO, and so are the images of these little ladies here. And I've also gathered some vintage fabrics, as well as a coffee stained file folder that I want to use as a base to create some journaling cards. So of course, with this project, I do want to point out that I'm using printables, but you could use real ephemera if you have access to it, or you can also use alternative elements such as any clippings from magazines, or even some scrapbook papers that you really like the patterns of that could absolutely replace the printables that I'm using. And of course, again, in lieu of the pictures of the ladies that I'm using, you could use real ephemera. So you could use some real vintage photos if you have some, or you could also cut out some pictures that you really like from a magazine or a book. So there's really just a wide variety of ideas that you can essentially alter everything that I'm doing in this video and make it your own and do whatever works for you, and as well as with whatever you have on hand. So my first step here is just to cut 2 pieces of that file folder that will fit in behind the printables that I have printed, just to offer a little bit of a sturdier back to them, and just to offer some more texture as well. I really like the just the feel of that file folder once it's been dyed. It just feels really nice and a little bit more vintage, and that just kind of goes with the vibe that I'm going for here. So here I'm just going to trim the excess before I can move on to figuring out what other bits and pieces that I want to use here. I really hope you guys are all doing really well. Things are good here, and just settling into spring nicely. What I plan on doing is sewing around these cards, but leaving one of the 4 sides open to create kind of a hidden pocket within this journaling card. And so I'm just trimming off little bits and pieces that are not quite fitting onto here. And then I'm moving to the pictures that I've selected. So I am going to remove the border of this one picture, and because I'm cutting it, there's not enough here. I'm going to show you right now. What's surrounding the picture is not quite thick enough for me to be able to simply rip. So alternatively, what I'm going to do is cut where I want to, but then I'm going to be using my X-Acto knife and I'm just going to slightly run it against the edges. You could probably use a pair of scissors. It might just take a little bit longer, as scissors can often not be quite as sharp as the X-Acto knife. But this will create that rough edge that I'm after without having to rip the paper. And then following that, I'm also going to be inking each of the sides. With this picture that I'm working with right now, the tints are quite warm, but with the other picture, it is quite black and white, which is fine, but just in this particular project, I'm looking for something a little bit warmer. So I am going to be running very slightly the ink over that picture as well. I'm using the vintage photo ink, and that will allow me to create a little bit more of a warm tone to the picture. With that being done, I am going to be ready to sew around each of the cards and leave one of the sides open to create that pocket. And I'm also, first off, I'm going to be sewing the picture onto the printable, just to create that texture without having the square at the back of the journaling card. So you can see here only 3 of the sides with the back of the journaling card is sewed through. So we have our little hidden pockets there where I'll be able to insert extra journaling space or some special ephemera. So now I'm ready to move on to the fabric component of what I've selected for myself. And I had this really pretty vintage lace, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to use that. I just had some other ideas, or like a vision, I guess, of what I wanted to create. And this little fabric, it's like a tulle with these little fleur de lis imprints on there, or like appliques, or embroidered, oh my goodness, like little embroidered fleur de lis symbols. So I really wanted to use that. I don't know, it just seems like it fit really nicely with this particular printable that I was using. And so here I played around a ton with this. I cut out maybe like a good 20 minutes of me just trying to figure out where I was going to place it, how I was going to use it, but I was determined that I was going to use it. So here you see me trim it, and then I'm going to trim it some more before I attach it onto the journaling card. And here you see me kind of playing around, trying to figure out the best way that I would like the fabric to lift from the journaling card and reveal the image. And before I do any of the sewing, I do want to figure out what I'm going to be using with the other card, just so that I only have to go to my sewing machine once And I do settle on this sari silk ribbon that I have that has the blues and the pinks. It just matches so well with the printable that I had in the back there. And I decided that I'm going to be creating this ruffle that you see here. And so I created this ruffle on this one here. And then of course you have the pocket. And for the other card, I ended up picking up a ribbon that I had selected previously, and I sewed that to the back here, as well as sewed a part of at the bottom of the little tulle fabric with another little sari silk ribbon, or this one I think is a chiffon ribbon, just to add some more element, and everything can be tied with a little bow to just add some softness, and really it feels romantic to me and just pretty, and exactly the vibe I was looking for. And that's everything for this video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that it gave you some ideas on how to create your own journaling cards. Let me know in the comment down below if you enjoyed this video, and leave me a thumbs up if you did. Otherwise, I will talk to you all in my next one, and thank you so much for supporting me. Have a good one. Bye now.